at 8 p.m.
And welcome back to the broadcast. Finally, we get to that very important conversation, just engaging women. Remember, yesterday was International Women's Day, and we keep the spirit. It marches into the weekend. And so as we close this weekend and as we close this week of women, it's important that we sum it up in style. Honorable Lilian Sioi, the woman representative of Trans Nzoia County, is with us this evening. And joining us virtually will be Masana Mulauzi. Mulauzi will be telling us just what plays out at the Wikimedia world. And of course, she's one of the senior managers there. As we get to engage her on Skype, she'll just be talking about what the element, in relation to as well what the theme has been of involving a woman would mean in terms of making sure that we get progress as a people. I know this is a conversation that we've had for a long time, but we keep having it until we get to the point where we are confident that indeed the voice of the woman is being heard. Right here in the country, we want to appreciate the strides that we have evidently seen. And of course, just looking at what President William Ruto had to do in terms of, just picking up or appointing ambassadors, with a huge number of women there, about 12, of course. And we just get to hear what it would mean in terms of pushing the agenda forward. So welcome on board. The hashtag, as always, is #HerSay. We'll be looking at some of your comments as we continue with the broadcast. Allow us to say jambo to Mheshimiwa Lilian Sioi. Thank you so much for creating time.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank you too.
How is Trans Nzoia? I know you're not coming from there almost immediately, but yeah.
Yeah, Trans Nzoia, we are fine, and yesterday we were also celebrating, though I didn't attend, but I was well represented with TWL women, with our governor, because they were launching their policy at the county level. Yeah.
Okay, and of course, what do you make of this celebration of women? I know we constantly talk about International Women's Day, but just how different is it for you, for the people of Trans Nzoia, for the country, looking at what your government, the Kenya Kwanza government, is doing, our government, I would say?
First of all, I want to appreciate our president, because let me say, during his regime, we have done so well. We have had a number of, good number of women being appointed in various positions. Let me talk about the cabinet secretary. We have 7 and 3 advisors. That is very good of him. And to me, I feel like the president is keeping to his word, the way he promised during campaign. And I also want to appreciate, because yesterday, as we were celebrating, he also gave us appointed 10 women in a certain position, ambassador position, commissioner position, deputy, and we don't take that for granted. We really, really appreciate. Yeah. All
right. I don't know whether he's on course. Kenyans are asking this, and we're not here to discuss politics, but now that this happened, the backdrop of celebrating women, I think we have no choice but to speak about it. There's this element where we're pushing for and advocating for. They say that when you empower a woman, when you involve a woman, then there's that element and guarantee of, us getting progress as a people, not just in the country, but across the globe. We look at women representatives, a position that has been appreciated, but equally contested in this equal measures. What do you make of it? Do you suppose that at least it's a whole different thing with this current government? Maybe that's the reason why there's some element of convincing that perhaps it's time to push some over the 2/3 gender rule.
I first of all want to talk about our governors, female governors.
Yeah.
Truth be told, they are doing very, very well. And they have made us proud. And even the president himself is so much proud of them. And I think that is why even during the G7 meeting he had in Nairobi, he said that given opportunity, he would support any other woman who wants to vie for any gubernatorial seat. So that is a positive vibe for us as women. And I would wish to say that women, when they are given opportunity, they do well.
Right.
In my position as a woman rep, because I know this position came up just to boost the number of women in parliament.
Right.
We are really trying our best, despite the little funding that we have.
Right.
But we still feel that women have not really been recognized. Because if you look at the allocation we are being given as women, in the entire county compared to the constituency MPs,
levels, yeah,
compared to the governor himself, we really feel like we are struggling, we are straining. But we still appreciate, because that position, we are competing amongst women.
Right.
So that means we really wanted to have women in leadership. And I also want to appreciate the president over the same, because he promised that every year. We complained to him, and I want to say that he took it positively. He saw the need and the request that we were putting across, very, very genuine. Yeah. And he promised that every year he'll be giving us an additional of 1 billion. Right. So I suppose that is going to help, but still it is on the lower side.
The lower side. Yeah. All right, we'll be coming back to you. I understand where you're coming from when you argue that, you know, the women representatives are holding the entire county, as opposed to, you know, members of parliament who are just focused on constituencies. And there's a story that we've run, I hope you've watched it, from your county, in relation to a school that is struggling, and the children are not able to find time to play and space to play because of land issues right there. But of course, we'll be getting to hear your view in relation to how that can be addressed. But allow us to cross over to Masana Mulauzi, who is the Senior Manager of Wikimedia, on standby, joining us virtually. And this as well is a conversation about women in her own space, in her own entity, that is huge in terms of the contribution of just how people are able to access information. Mulauzi, if you can hear me, we are talking about the involvement of women, but there is evidently an imbalance, not just in Wikimedia or not just in Wikipedia, but across the global fraternity in numerous spaces. What do you suppose needs to be done to make sure that there's the involvement of more women, and just what will this do towards, you know, boosting that element of progress?
Thank you, Linda, and it's a pleasure to be with you and your guests tonight. For starters, I think part of the opportunity facing us as women to participate in the digital space is the recognition that Wikipedia as a project is one of the biggest knowledge repositories that have existed in human history. So one of the biggest encyclopedias that tells the story not only of politicians, scientists, and change makers of the past, but also shaping opportunities that makes young women, girls, and so
I'm sorry, we can't get you clear. I don't know whether that can be fixed, Mr. Director. Mr. Director. All right, we perhaps wait for that to be fixed, or we try some more.
Can you hear me better now?
Let's see. Much better.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. So as I was saying, as one of the biggest knowledge projects that have ever existed in human history, Wikipedia represents an opportunity for young women and girls and those who are interested in shaping the discourse of our digital world and the memory of our past, present, and future to contribute to the encyclopedia to close knowledge gaps. This is really important because in Kenya, only 30% of biographies on Wikipedia that are about notable Kenyans are about women. And in the previous conversation, we've heard how important it is that women and young girls have inspiration for their political, their scientific, or otherwise paths. And a resource like Wikipedia can really help mold that inspiration that we want young women and girls to see and to have access to. Particularly when we look in the global landscape, Wikipedia articles number more than 61 million in over 300 languages across the world, and it's viewed more than 15 billion times per month. Now, in the Kenyan context, that is incredible because we see that there's a 26% increase in women-focused content online since 2022. And so we really want to invite your listeners and your viewers to participate in Wikipedia, to contribute not only to how we understand ourselves, but to shaping the discourse on history and the notable Kenyan women that everyone across the world should be reading.
Beyond Wikipedia, there is some fear or perhaps concern that across the globe, the woman has been experiencing, knowledge gaps for that matter. Do you suppose that we're catching up better in terms of making sure that we are up to standard, to match up to what it is that the world is presenting to us, to match up to what it is that is expected of us? And what are some of the initiatives that we perhaps need to do and make sure that women as well grab onto them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think across the world, we recognize that external trends have really affected the participation of women in the digital space, including things such as COVID-19, or even the digital divide that is very gendered in Africa, where women have lack of access to internet, or even the equal opportunity to access education. Wikipedia is an incredible resource because it helps bridge those knowledge gaps as a free resource available in multiple languages around the world. When we first identified the knowledge gap back in 2009, 2010, it was 9% of content was about women. And in this history, we've seen the contribution, including of the Kenyan community, to bring that figure up to 19% globally and 26% in Kenya. So it's one of the most equitable projects that we have in Africa, focused on women-focused content. Now, it's not enough to say that this gap is 26% and that it needs to be closed. We really want to encourage participation in the digital world because we recognize that artificial intelligence and large language models like Siri or OK Google build their content based on resources like Wikipedia. So by closing this knowledge gap in Wikipedia, we contribute to a more equitable access to information for this generation and the next. And we really see media as a central part of that contribution because there is a lack of storytelling about the women in our continent, the local politicians who shape local or national democracy and policies, the scientists who are African women who've made great contributions, including like Wangari Maathai, who has a Wikipedia article. How many more Kenyan women, for example, have been impactful in society, but are missing on Wikipedia and thus missing in a meaningful way to shape how we understand the world and the content and the stories about the world that is needed.
All right. You will rarely find, or perhaps at least the world is changing, to a space where we at least get to see women, taking up the challenge, boldly facing up. It's just recently that Kenyan women, began getting into political spaces with confidence that, as a woman representative today, the next time you say you really want to go for a constituency, you want to go for gubernatorial position. And I think that is one thing that we need to celebrate. Just to pick up on some of the data that has been sent to us by Wikimedia, is that despite us being half of the population, the women, of course, only constitute of 19% of content creation in this space, and of course, projects as just about 13% of Wikipedia editors identify as women. And what is even worse is that right here in the country, we only have 30% of biographies on Wikipedia about notable Kenyans who are women, actually. And so we ask ourselves, why is it that we have left this whole gap of about 70%? Mheshimiwa, we come back to you, just picking it up from what it is Malozi says and coming back and contextualizing it to what is happening at home. Do you think that the girl child is bold enough today, that the girl child, beyond all this affirmative action, positions and, spaces, the girl is confident today, the girl is well empowered to go out there and face the world and, break the glass ceiling?
Yeah, I must say that the girl child right now is very bold. And if you want to know that they are bold nowadays, I can feel the men are threatened.
Oh, yes.
And even in Bunge, they are threatened. I want to give a good example. When we were speaking about the third gender rule in Bunge, we really wanted it to be included in the NADCO report.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was not included, and we are worried that when it comes independently to Bunge, I don't think it is going to go through. Because most of the time when we share with our male colleagues, they would always tell you that thing, we are waiting for it to come, and we are going to make sure that it
flops.
All
right.
So I feel like a girl child right now is bold enough. We have made it accessible. Our girls are going to school. Our girls can access health, can access a number of things. But now the only thing that we really need to do, because we are talking about gender, you see now, like when you talk about third gender role, most of the time men will tend to think we are talking about women, but in real sense it is, you know, it might be vice versa in future, because you see now, right now ladies are more, we are like the population is high, let's say that. And if we get united and we say, let's support each other, I'm telling you, we are going to take all the seats. We will sweep all. But
you see, that is the problem. This cliche that women are their own enemies.
Yes.
And we're going to come to you, Mulauzi, and perhaps just get to hear whether such is the case, you know, in South Africa. Do you get to hear this cliche of, you know, women are their own enemies, briefly?
For what I see happening in our community, particularly in the movement that we have, which is, in fact, women have been the catalyst for closing different knowledge gaps. I mean, in Africa, in particular in Kenya, we see the impact of women organizers in a space where 19 million views, the 61 most views of any country on the top 10 website, is made possible because of the role of women in inviting others into the movement to contribute. So I can only celebrate the work that women in our movement have done despite being a minority. I think there's so many lessons that we can offer up to what it means to work together to close different knowledge gaps or gender gaps in society.
All right. Well, is there goodwill? We'll be coming to you, Mheshimiwa, to tell us why is it that up until today we still talk about a scenario where if only women could come together and support this and that, then we're going to achieve it. What is this that stops us from, you know, supporting some of these, you know, agendas that are largely about benefiting the society and the girl child in particular? I'll allow us to take a quick short break. Remember, we still have the Women Orchestra as well on standby just to, you know, entertain us, and we also appreciate that fact that we still have women who are, you know, doing good in the world of music. So we take a quick short break and then we come back with more.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus niko niwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee, soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you know, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking,
Nowadays with the tech, you can check on different websites or you check online and you can see some inspiration. So at least that one would be a direction already. I'll know like what kind of style you're going for.
to finishing touches, witness the dedication of the hard-working teams who bring these ambitious dreams to reality. The Realtor, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nilikuwa na nisani kama 10 na
even help them sing along. You know, sometimes when the instruments are playing and you sing along, you almost feel like you have the best voice in the world.
Kuja show kesho.
Nikuje show kesho. Hebu tuambie sasa kwanza, nyinyi ni akina nani? Show iko wapi? Show ni ya nini? Hao wametupimia muziki. I think it's like they were told, ukifika tu hapo, you know, just do something kidogo. Well, they don't understand much of Swahili.
Yes.
So let's not do Swahili for the benefit of
Miriam and Sumaya.
And Sumaya,
yes.
Right. So introduce yourself to the people.
So watching. I'm Wanderi Karimi and I'm the co-founder of the African Women's Orchestra. I am a guitarist. That's why I wasn't singing.
Oh, why didn't you carry your guitar here?
No, you come tomorrow and you watch me play.
But what is this thing about coming tomorrow?
Come tomorrow and watch me play.
Give us reason 1,000,001 times to come. At least, okay, but yes.
Yes. So Sumaya and Miriam are from Brass for Africa, which is a UK charity that runs out of Uganda. Right. And they were gracious enough to let us have some of their women to come and join the African Women's Orchestra. This is the second time.
Nice.
In 2019, we had a trumpet player come and we were missing the lower brass. And so thanks to the CEO of Brass for Africa and the directors and the trustees, we were able to have them over and we are really excited. We can't wait for them to start the program in Kenya.
All right.
Don't you think it would be nice?
It would be amazing. So you people are they're going to be stationed here?
No, they are here just for the show tomorrow.
Just for the show tomorrow.
Imagine, yes.
All right. So the program, of course, is something that is continuous.
Yes, but of course, we want things like this in Kenya, don't you think?
No,
yes.
Honestly, you know, I'm just looking at them. I am calling this was machines because literally they are machines and not instruments. Can you say hi, Jambo, to us? Yes. At least Jambo. Jambo, you have learned. There's a mic here.
So, Jambo.
Just that?
Najina pia name.
Your name?
Oh.
Sumaya. Sumaya, what instrument is this?
Namakoja.
No, Sumaya Namakoja. what instrument is this that Sumaya is playing? Sumaya let me hold it for you, all right? And then there's also that mic, which is fine. Eh?
I'm Sumaya. I'm a music and life skills teacher at Brass for Africa, Uganda. I play a B-flat tuba.
This is a B-flat tuba.
Yeah.
Interesting. Welcome to Kenya.
Thank you.
You are amazing, I must admit. But this must be quite heavy, yeah?
Like, you
yeah,
get used
but
to
they're
it.
quite easy handling it. It's as if it's, just anyway.
Amezoea,
man. That's clearly what is happening here. So, yes, Mariam.
My name is Miriam, a music and life skills teacher at Brass for Africa, Uganda. And I play trombone.
The hard name?
Hard name is Nyirabanasi.
What? Nyirabanasi. All right, beautiful name, beautiful. Uganda is almost close to my tribe here. I won't say which one. So sometimes the pronunciation is pretty much easy for me. All right, so all of you are tutors and teachers of music?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. It's good to have you. So which one is this that you play?
It's a B-flat trombone.
It's a B-flat trombone.
Yeah.
I am lost. No need to worry. I am a lover of music, but I just realized that actually I know nothing about music. But it's an honor to have you. So where is this that you're telling us to come tomorrow? Let me hold this for you so you don't fall here. All right? Okay.
She carries such a heavy one. So we've done this this is our 8th event.
Right.
We do it every International Women's Day. We call it the International Women's Day concert weekend.
Right.
So we'll be having it at the National Museums of Kenya, at the Louis Leakey Auditorium, which is just off the entrance, yes.
Nice. So it will be music.
Music. Amazing things for choir, orchestra, some drumming, and an artist called Liboy. If you've not been exposed to her, you must come and hear her soulful voice together with the orchestra.
Beginning what time?
Beginning at 3 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. So we have 2 shows, and you can get your tickets on mook.com.
Beautiful,
yes.
Beautiful. We're looking forward to that. I will be working tomorrow, but now that you say it begins at 3, I think I can find I cannot find my way there. My bosses are going to hear that.
They will hear that.
I'm supposed to be on duty, but we'll figure out something. You give me some music so that I can walk all the way back to the set with something small at least, I also don't know how to handle some of these things, so please understand me. Tupandishe juu, this is all music from Apple. It's okay. What music do you give us? Thankfully. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder just what you are. Moshibi, we're back to you. All right, and yes, we'll listen to that at least before we close the show later on. But we are back to some business here. That's nice, just appreciating the women as well. This case that has played out in Trans Nzoia, but above that, why is it that we keep talking about women? If women are going to come together to support, just what is this that bedevils us?
Sometimes I'm also puzzled with that word. When we talk about if, yet we are.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is do some advocacy, not in a rally way, but in a small group, just educate them. And as you can look at our theme for this time around, investing in women for progress.
Yes.
Investing means even just building the confidence of that woman. How do you build that confidence? When we give those people a chance, just letting those ladies come and speak to us with even the nonsense that they want to tell us. But we don't tell them off, but we try and motivate them, even clap for them, and then we know how we are going to correct them in a better way.
Right.
So sometimes I feel like the women who have not made it in life are jealousy for the women who are progressing.
Yeah.
Of which, to me, as you said, these positions we are being given is for strengthening us, making you bold enough so you can go to another stage. You create another chance for somebody else who is under there.
Yeah.
How do we do that? We have to make sure that we get hold of the ones who are there, we motivate them, we invest in them. Investing doesn't mean that it is for others, even us as women ourselves. Even in your capacity as a villager, you have a role to invest in any other woman who is trying her best to make sure that she's bold enough to address people, bold enough to lead people, bold enough to do any other thing.
Right.
You just appreciate that woman in that way, the way she is, and know how you're going to correct if you really need to in a better way. So we still have a long way, but I want to appreciate GOtv because they have sourced for some funding, and we are thinking of how we can advocate and educate women in smaller groups so that they can pass the same message to other ladies, that we don't need to continue crying and even talk about the third gender rule, yet we have the capability of making it the way we want. We want this thing tomorrow or day after tomorrow. It is now men who are going to benefit on these policies that we are putting across for the gender, for the third gender rule. Let it be them, not us, because we are the majority and we have the capability of doing it. So that is what we need to let our ladies know. And if they know that, I think we will no longer keep on crying the way we do.
Mhesh, you know, in my very many years of being a communication specialist or perhaps serving in the media, if there is a subject I have spoken about so much, it must be this subject of just making sure that the girl is pushed to that level. And I know we have done so. We have made strides to a point, like you say, where men sort of feel like they're being shortchanged. But the same old story, and perhaps not much of progress. What do you suppose will be the different element today, and in this case, unique to the country? And I would say that a different element in terms of bringing that change that we have been talking about for the longest of time, that will finally, that women in parliament are going to do this. I mean, they've been doing this. How do we ensure that this is not lip service anymore? How do we ensure that these are things that are going to be implemented?
As you say, we have come up with so many policies that are not workable, if I may say, or they are not working at the moment. Because as we speak, even in Bunge, we have a shortage of 54 women, you know.
Right.
But we always talk about the third gender rule, and we feel like it should be that way. And it was passed long time ago. But as we speak, we have a deficit of 54 women in Bunge, that is parliament, and we have two ladies in Senate.
Right.
I think the only thing that we are going to do, because maybe even the men feel, probably that is what they are feeling, why should we be getting free things? Why should we nominate so many women, yet others have undergone campaigns, you know, all those sort of things to get that position? Probably maybe that is what they feel. So I think it is our time to now act, as you've said.
Yeah.
It is now our time to make sure that how do we make that third be there without maybe crying and asking that we need this number of women in Bunge to make sure that we have the third gender rule. And we are able to do it. So I think what we are planning to do will work out, because we've been having meetings but in hotels, and we were telling them we already know that what we need.
Right.
As members of parliament, we already know. But the people we are representing, the women out there, don't know what is supposed to be done. So instead of doing these meetings here, why can't we have the meetings in the villages? We let them know what we need to do to make sure that we meet the numbers that we require. Yes.
All right, away from politics, or perhaps, you know, intertwining with politics, how are the rest of the people being involved? Like you say, go to the villages, fine, that could be aligned with politics because these are the voters. But what about the women in the private sector? What about the women in numerous other sectors in terms of just intertwining what is in the political space with what is out there so that this then is achievable?
I think in every part, as you say, because when we talk about the third gender rule, we don't mean in politics only. We mean in any
across,
other area, across everywhere, that even here where you're working. It should be a policy that has to be followed. And any time that you are in a sitting and you feel like the gender is not well balanced, it should be spoken outrightly. And if anything, the process should stop at that particular time. But I've realized, as we were saying, sometimes we feel jealousy of others. Still, we feel like here we are missing a certain gender, but nobody will speak about it because we are all looking for jobs. And if I come across maybe my boss and I start talking about the gender is not balanced, probably maybe I'll be the one who will be removed or somebody else. So we keep on to that, and we don't follow the policies that are there. So if we are sure that we are going to do what the policies we put across, we make sure that it is implemented, it will be very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are at, what is the situation like in Trans Nzoia County now that you're a representative of the people of Trans Nzoia? That is more or less like Nairobi, cosmopolitan. There's an involvement of numerous faces, women from all walks of life. What are some of the engagements that are taking center stage down there to empower the girl child?
We have a number of things that we are doing to empower the girl child. And let me say the first sector that we really need to do, and we are doing it, is when it comes to education. Yeah. But let me just balance, because nowadays we no longer go for a girl child only, we also go for a boy child. Because these boys we are neglecting are the future husbands of these ladies that we are empowering. That's true. So towards the end of the day, we have to balance the equation to make sure that we are at par. We don't leave the boy child behind as we are empowering the girl child. Yeah. In Trans Nzoia, we've had cases of early pregnancies, and all this is because of poverty. And this is something sometimes it's beyond, you know, you try your best and you really feel like it's beyond you, there is nothing you can do. I want to quote some specific areas where we have some squatters. A place like Halwenge is highly affected. And the reason as to why it is affected is because that is a place whereby we have the squatters who are working in ADC farm and Kenya Seed farm. But those two companies are not doing so well at the moment. So we realize that the parents are not able to provide for their kids. So even the kids now have gone out to fend for their brothers and sisters and even themselves. So you realize that early pregnancies is going high. And at times when we speak about it being food basket in Trans Nzoia, usually you'll be told, you people, you're doing well, you have fertile land, you have enough food, you have, you know, all those kind of things. But people fail to understand that in every town we have area of poverty. We have a slum towards the end of the day. What do we do to ensure that we empower? So we have tried our best, and I even reached out to our CS just to see how we can do to make sure that we empower these girls in slums, because we are having pregnancies, motherhood, early childhood motherhood, and what have you. So we really want to see how we can help them. Yeah.
All right, incredible. There's that piece that we had carried out. And I know I've invited you so many times. I would have wished for us to just get to know your story. You know, Hasei is largely about just getting to see these women who are doing different things in society and getting to know where they come from, you know, their backgrounds and all that. But I guess that is a story for another day. I hope when I welcome you, you will actually, or when I invite you, you will, you know, head to that invite. But yes, there's that story that we have carried in relation to a school that, you know, has or used to have maybe a field, but it's no longer theirs because of some land issues here and there, you know, posing danger to the lives of these students. What can be done in such a scenario in terms of just making sure that this is addressed for the sake of the students?
Issues of land grabbers has really been a big issue. And as I was watching, even me, I was puzzled because I was surprised how can you change the road to be a field for children students to play. Yeah. So it is an easy thing, because I think as from tomorrow I'm going to pick it up. First of all, I'll have to talk to the county commissioner just to go and find out what is happening. And I'm also going to ensure that we let the Minister of Lands know what is going on. But I want to say this. We've had people grab land. We've had people sell land to others after grabbing. But we've never heard of the land registrar being arrested over any case. Okay. Now, my question is, because these people will always show you a title deed they acquired, not that they made it by themselves. These are title deeds that they were issued from Ministry of Lands. Yeah. They could be fake, yes. Maybe the process was fraudulently done. But now my question is, this person who signed that title deed and issued it, why should that person still be in office, yet the person who got the title is being demolished for?
Right.
This is something that we really need to follow up. And I have raised that question. I think we are waiting for the Minister of Lands next week, just to let her answer that question, because I feel like if we handle it on the issue of the employees at the land registry, we are going to get rid of this problem. But if we continue with the way we are doing to demolish people's houses, these people who are in office issuing the fake title deeds will continue with the things they're doing. So I'm going to pick it up, and I'm sure by next week, those children will be happy.
All right. Yeah. Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much. That's the essence of having, leaders around and, them just getting to heed to the calls and the prayers of those ones that are down there, because that's why we then elected them. We have talked about what is playing out locally, but then this we have to align with what the rest of the world is doing. The rest of the world is moving technology, is innovation, of course incorporating their women. You've heard what it is that Mulauze speaks of. Just how are we aligning? And we know there's no better way of aligning us to what is with the rest of the world, apart from, using that channel of politics. How are we aligning in terms of that as women leaders when you have these conversations?
We are trying to let women know any other opportunity that comes our way and anything that is going on in this country. And as we said some years back, there are some things that they were not accessible to women. Yeah. But right now, we have equal responsibility, we have equal accessibility, and every lady out there has been given a chance to access to any information, education, employment, and what have you. So anything that comes our way, and every time when I'm doing my things, I make sure that women are most of the beneficiaries from my activities are women. Just because as much as we want to say that we have to put it equal, but women are more than men. And as we've always said, when you empower a woman, you've empowered a whole community. So I always try to make sure that any advert that comes in, any opportunity that comes in, when we are advertising for that opportunity, I make sure that I encourage women to apply more, or I encourage women to participate more. Right. Yeah.
Okay. I wished that we probably did not talk about this today, but, having lost another woman who's a female blogger just, recently, and I have actually carried that story as well. It breaks our hearts. Just last week, we had cases of femicide again in the country, and we have seen women across, coming out there to advocate for, the end of this. What is this that bedevils us? What, has been put on board, perhaps by you as parliamentarians, towards making sure that, these cases are not there anymore, if not reduced?
The first thing that we we have proposed, because we realized that most of, like last month or 2 months ago, when we had 2 cases that followed each other, they were being done in Airbnb. And we were just like, probably it's being done in Airbnb because there is no registration, there is no track, and but we have a problem, and the biggest problem we have right now is because we are still more, women are more than men. And most of these ladies are single mothers. Most of them don't even have any relationship. Not that they are not in a relationship because they don't want. They are not in a relationship because they have got no one who is approaching them. Or probably anybody approaching her is somebody who is already in another relationship. Yeah. So they have decided to go, I don't know how it's called, this dating sites.
Yeah, in search of at least men and all that.
At least you go find a man from the dating site. But now, people are also liars. Yeah. Because you find Kenyans themselves are in those pages. Right. Posing as foreigners, speaking
Yes, yeah.
Speaking in a certain wherever, you know, you're thinking like you've gotten somebody who is serious, just to realize that it is you that person was looking for.
Yeah.
And you know, I think lack of employment has really made people change their attitude towards even women.
Yeah.
Some years back, I realized we had so much respect for women, especially men. They really respected women. But that thing has disappeared completely. When somebody wants to steal from you, you know, you're looking for a relationship, but that person is looking on how he's going to steal from you, you know. But you're very serious. I've gotten a nice guy, a serious guy, you know, and you give it to your best, just to realize that you had engaged yourself with a thug. But we are advising our ladies, maybe we should go back to our old system, because our old system, we used to date people we know. People could marry people they know, families they know. So right now, let us date people that we at least know the background and what have you. And if you're meeting someone for the first time, let it not be in a secretive place. Let it be in a public place. Find out who this person is, the background and what have you. We are still, like the lady blogger you were talking about who was killed. We are sorry for her and for the family. May her soul rest in peace. Men still feel we are weak. We don't have the muscles to fight. We don't have, you know, us, we are naive.
Yeah.
We have bloggers who have done worse things, men bloggers. But we've had very few who have been killed, which is bad, because these people, that is what they are also doing. It is a source of income.
Of income for them, unfortunately.
You know? Unfortunately, it's a source of income for them. Sometimes I look at people who abuse me and I just smile, because, you know, you look at that person and you say, this one is looking for something too.
But it takes a lot of stamina to get to levels where you can just laugh about it.
Yes.
Otherwise, it can crush you,
Exactly. Know? But for me right now, you say whatever you say, it doesn't bother me completely.
Is it?
Yeah. I developed a thick.
It takes a lot of energy to get there.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So before we come to a close, maybe in 30 seconds, what is this that you would tell the people out there, the women and even the men, because it's actually them that actually make us, you know, to be this good women, that, you know, there's no, a world without men, would we be? What would we be as women, even as we come to a close? And I know, once again, we will engage you some other time so that we also get to know your experiences until you've worn this tough skin.
My word for the women, I want to encourage them to come out in large numbers and vie. These positions they're theirs.
Yeah.
They should not get worried. Even me, I'm encouraging all the women to come and vie for these women rep seats.
Trans Nzoia.
Yes. Let me tell you, for somebody to sit down and just think that I want to go and vie, you know, just trying. It's not an easy thing.
Right.
So, and you see, when you try even once, you make yourself strong.
Right.
So next time you'll be bold enough to either now come out strongly or go for another seat. Like myself, I've always told myself, I'll go for this seat twice. First, this term that I'm serving, then I'll go for another term. From there, I pave way for another lady. Either I go for single constituency or I go for gubernatorial seat.
Right.
Yes.
And it's possible. Congratulations once again. This is your first time, you know, in government, and we certainly hope that you're doing, you know, justice to the people who voted you. And like you rightfully put it, all the best in this endeavor, which is equally not an easy space. The Honorable Lillian Sioe, woman representative of Trans Nzoia County, asante sana for taking your time to come and speak to us on this special day, as well as appreciating Masana Mulaudzi, who is the senior manager of Wikimedia. We had her as well joining us virtually, but we lost her somewhere along the way. We appreciate her contribution to the broadcast this evening, and equally not forgetting that we still have the African Women Orchestra on standby. Once again, you said they'll be performing where tomorrow? Louis Leakey Auditorium. So you need to go and check out these ladies, even as they, you know, make us enjoy this good music. Back to you, ladies.